This is your Frontier opening bell here on Frontier Africa Report. I am Bosun Nomafa. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show this Thursday. We're cruising towards the first Friday in the month of March. So let's get the markets up for you, give you just a quick review of how some of the big exchanges on the African continent finished off on Wednesday. The Nigerian market lost a few notches as we saw profit taking on Jitco, on the shares of FBN Holdings, and a few other big names on the exchange as we get a bit of more earnings coming through on the Nigerian bourse. In South Africa, the market remains solid in the 77,000. A few more hundreds were added yesterday as the markets around the world begin to get a better sense of how the sanctions against Russia is beginning to play out across the global market space. That's 1.21%. In the Nairobi bourse, by the way, the GSE added just about 0.5%. The BRVM fell alongside Nigerian bourse as well as the Egyptian exchange, down by little above 0.75%. Okay, let's get into the main groove, as it were. What's making the headlines across the various regions? And as always, we're starting with East Africa, where Kenya's fintech company M-Kopa has raised about $75 million in equity to expand its operations in East Africa's largest economy. Meantime, the Stanbic Bank of Kenya has signed an import funding deal with two vehicle importers into the country, while KenGen, which is the largest power generating company in Kenya, has posted a 5.12 billion shillings profit in the company's half-year profit for 2020, and that's much bigger than 5.05 billion posted the year earlier. And Tanzania says its risk of debt distress has worsened. That's according to the World Bank, by the way. So keep that in mind. Rwanda has secured about 56 million euros from the German Development Bank, that's the KfW, for climate change. Okay, I was talking about Nigeria's earnings season a little bit earlier. NGX Group, which is Nigeria Exchange Group, reporting gross earnings up by 11%, profit before tax up by 26%, net profit 22% to about 2.25 billion in its first full year post-mutualization earnings, which was released yesterday. In the meantime, Nestle, which is Nigeria's largest food giant, reporting revenue uptick of 22.8 billion for full year January to December last year. Net profit came in about 2.1% year on year, about 40 billion local currency. Nestle is adding more to its dividend. The total dividend by the food giant will come in at about 15 naira 50 kobo per share. In the meantime, OPEC Plus decided yesterday to do nothing, hold its existing production quota among members. The meeting lasted just a few minutes, as it were, online, virtually speaking, as it were. Sidestep talking about the Ukraine crisis. Russia was also part of that meeting. Oil prices continue to move on, well above $100 per barrel this morning, even as we look at both the London Brent and the US West Texas Intermediate US oil futures moving on very strongly, well above $110, above $112 per barrel. OPEC will be pushing an additional 400,000 barrels of oil into the market for the month of April. Dangote Sugar is also Nigeria reporting a dip about 26% in its 2021 profit, about 22 billion naira. The largest sugar refining company in Nigeria was impacted last year by a number of factors, which includes the state of the economy, pricing, finance costs, and a few others. Guinea's central bank is targeting inflation below 10% by mid-year 2022. And finally, in West Africa, Mali has missed $78.5 million in local debt repayments. Moody's Investor Services released a report just about 2 weeks ago stating that the sanctions by ECOWAS countries against the military junta in Mali will have very serious consequences for the country's debt repayment and the banks and banking system within the French-speaking West Africa space. Okay, let's get on with Southern Africa. Quite some earnings on the street, but a few other stories, big news, economic news coming through from the Southern Africa, where, of course, you have South Africa. The U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has been asked to keep one eye on Russia and should not allow the aggressor in Ukraine to use the crypto currencies market as a way of sidestepping billions, hundreds of billions of dollars in transactions that's been sanctioned against Russia and Vladimir Putin's administration. Russia's stock exchange has been closed for 3 days. The central bank has been locked out by the U.S. A number of clearing houses such as Clearview and others, and Euroclear are also looking to take Russian transactions out of the system. About $600 billion of Russian securities have been locked out of the global financial space. So Russia has resorted to using cryptos for payments, and now the U.S. Treasury Secretary has been asked to take a quick look at that and don't allow Russia get away on that. In the meantime, China is rushing to fill all its commodities needs, looking at the impact of the global sanctions against Russia because of its military operations in the Ukraine, and how that will impact on the supply chain, as Russia remains a major commodities producer, both crude oil, metals, and soft commodities around the world. Total Energy is risking losing its South Africa's license if it fails to put up a production plan by September. Got a few months to get that on the table. And Lesotho's new budget has been delayed because the main opposition party has withdrawn, or the main party has withdrawn from the coalition, which was put together. Now, everything's got to go back to the political point before the discussion on budget will have to take place. And then Namibia's Capricorn says he made about 580 million Namibian dollars and upping his dividend by about 45.5% for the company's first half 2022 period. And Blue Energy Limited reporting $1.27 million loss in its first half, this half year 2021 period. Those are stories from within the Southern African space. What else is on the table? Yes, North Africa, Egypt, and the World Bank says their total cooperation portfolio of investments about 5.5 billion US dollars. Suez Canal, one of the world's largest port operator, says its revenue rose 15.1% to about 545, roughly half a billion US dollars in the month of at the end of February. While Egypt's cement exports jumped 151%, roughly $500 million for the full year 2021 reporting period. Indonesia's average money market rate rose 6.5% for the month of February, reporting into the market by the Bank Al Maghrib, by the Tunisian central bank. And Managem is launching a bond issue of about 500 million dirhams. That's in Morocco. And that is the marketplace and some of the stories making headlines in North Africa. Remember, you can watch this show again on our YouTube at Frontier Africa Reports. Go on our website as well, frontierafricareports.com, to read up on our stories and others. Follow us on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, Instagram, and other social media platforms. I'll see you next time. Have a great day, everyone. And this is your Frontier Open Bell. I am Bosin Amafaye. Bye for now.